Hey guys, Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Welcome to the Sal Bando Memorial series. It's the 1981 series, Sal's last series, the 1981 series versus the New York Yankees, the American League Divisional Series. I played game one and I inputted the stats with Digital Diamond Baseball, the new software that I'm using. It's been around a long time. I'm just getting to it now. I've been playing Replay and Stratomatic and inputting stats there, using it as my companion, as my helper. I also used iScore, and I have, if you check my channel, I have several tutorials on doing that. Remember to like and subscribe my channel and hit on that little bell so you get alerted to my videos. We're right about to start. I'm using Replay Baseball Classic, which is really the original APA Advanced version or the APA Master Game. And if you read my short essay in Universal Baseball Association Facebook group, you'll see the history behind that. So let's get to it. Let's look at the lineups and let's get rolling. Let's start game two. It'll be Mike Caldwell versus Dave Righetti. So this ought to be a good one. Let's see what happens. Well, guys, this is the Sal Bando Memorial Series. He passed away a couple of days ago. Very, very sad. 78 years old. I believe it was cancer, but not 100% sure. I will be using the chart book 4, and this covers the seasons that I'm playing. Anything before, I think 1984, I believe, is chart book 4. So let's look at the lineups and let's go over the beautiful cards. These are classic cards done in classic font from the 70s, early 80s. Willie Randolph leads off for the Yankees, playing second base. Batting second is Jerry Mumphrey, the center fielder. Third is Dave Winfield in left field. Reginald Martinez Jackson, the straw that stirs the drink, will be batting cleanup for the Yankees. This is the 5th year with the Yankees. In '82, he will sign a huge contract with the California Angels. But his data and his results with the Yankees were much better than the data and the results with the California Angels. Although he did have a huge year, the first year he signed with the Angels, which is really crazy because he actually hit 39 home runs that season, and the most he hit with the Yankees was 41. But his homers took a drastic hit. From that point on, probably were cut in half and hit mostly in the 20s and in the teens. Luke Piniella will be DH and batting fifth. Batting sixth is Greg Nettles, the defensive specialist, and he continues to be so in 1981 with the Yankees. Bob Watson, the first baseman. I believe he was acquired from the Astros. I can't totally remember. Larry Milbourne, the shortstop, with the Dent is still on this team, and I believe he's injured. So it's Larry Milbourne filling in, and Rick Cerrone, the catcher. He was the catcher who picked up after the loss of Thurman Munson in 1979. I believe it was Rick Cerrone who was the next big guy in that position for 1980 and 1981. And they will, of course, be facing Mike Caldwell, and we have the tall pitcher cards, which I really love. Really love the system. It's so simple, so straightforward, yet it has the meat. It has some meat on its bones. These cards, again, are very hard to come by and can be pricey. Can go easily over $100. I was lucky to get a big batch of them, a big, lot of them during COVID, when guys saw everybody buying as a great opportunity to sell, which there was a really good opportunity to sell because guys were definitely out there buying. I think now it's a buyer's market. Back then it was a seller's market. I think our hobby has really taken a little bit of a hit now that COVID has passed and the lockdowns have gone by and so on and so forth. I think guys are getting back to their regular schedule. All right, so Paul Molitor is going to lead off, and he's going to play right field. Robin Yount is the shortstop. Cecil Cooper batting third is the first baseman. Ted Simmons, will be the catcher for the Brewers and batting fourth cleanup. Gorman Thomas, powerful center fielder. For the Brewers, will be batting fifth. Batting sixth is Ben Ogilvy, the left-hand hitting left fielder. Sal Bando, rest in peace, will be batting seventh. He has infinite wisdom when it comes to postseason play. Of course, he played in the postseason, I believe, 5 seasons with the Oakland Athletics, and this is his first season in the postseason with the Brewers. Charlie Moore will be the DH, and batting ninth is a second baseman, sure-handed Jim Ganton. So let's get started. Of course, the pitcher will be Dave Righetti. He has an excellent card. Just by looking at it, he definitely is going to strike out a bunch of guys. 1-1-1. So he had a good season. The lower the number on the pitcher card, the better the season is. And let's do it. Let's roll 2 dice. This is not unlike APA. I'm going to open up the book, put it in column 3, and let's see what happens. Let's roll away. Play ball, screams the umpire. Yeah, Ron Guidry dominated in game 1, and the Yankees took a 1-0 lead in the series. This is game 2. So this game takes a little bit of a different perspective. It looks more at the cards and more at the score sheet and more at the dice rolls. In game 1, it's more the software program that I use to input the data, so it kicks out a box score and kind of tracks the stats for me and so on and so forth. And that's something new that I'm using now called Digital Diamond. So let's roll. Mike Caldwell versus Willie Randolph. Let's do it. All right, a 2 and a 4. So Caldwell doesn't strike out a lot of guys. He has very high numbers at 1 and 2. So that's a 4, and a 4 is a 20 in column 2. And we'll see what that's going to result in. That's a fly out to center field. Center fielder Thomas, he's there. And that's the first out. So I do have to input the numbers for this. It's 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. All right, and for the Brewers, it's 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3, and 2. All right, Jerry Mumphrey's next. 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Pitch. That's a 1 and a 5. It's a 4. It's a 9. And a 9 on column 1 this time. It's going to be a pop-up to the left side. Third baseman Sal Bando. He's there and puts it away. So 2 up and 2 down for Mike Caldwell. Next is Dave Winfield. And that's going to be a 1 hit to the second baseman, a 3, and that's bounced to second. Easy play for Gantner, and that retires the side. 3 up and 3 down. And we'll just double check. Again, this is not my regular game, so I'm memorizing a few different things. I believe 6 is the second baseman, and it is 4 and 5 is the shortstop. All right, so bottom of the first. No score for the Yankees, and the Brewers coming to bat. Dave Righetti versus Paul Molitor. Righetti has a tremendous card, and it's a 5. So it's a 4 there, and then a 6 is a 7, and that's going to be ball 4. That's going to be a walk. Now there is a symbol. And I can't remember what that symbol is. I'm not going to worry about it right now. But there's also potential for a stolen base in this situation, Paul Molitor, and that's going to be a single answer appears. Reaches base safely. The next base roll. Let's see if it's higher than the catcher's defensive rating. Defensive rating of the catcher is Cerrone. So the next base higher than the defensive rating. Catcher's rating is a stolen base. If not higher, the runner holds. So it's not higher, so the runner will hold. So Molitor had a chance to steal a base, cannot get the lead he so desires. And it's Robin Yount pitch. 6. That's a 1 and a 2 is a 47, column 6. With a runner on first, and that's one drive, hit the center field. Short single, runner advances 2 bases, roll one die against the defensive rating of the center fielder. The center fielder is a 3. So this may be a double. If the die is not higher, play is held to a single. If the die is higher, it is at least a triple. So I'm going to roll twice, 3 times. So let's see if it's if the die is not higher, play is held to a single. So he's a 3, and it is higher, so that's going to be a double. Oh, it's at least a triple, so it's going to be a triple. All runners say roll one die again. If higher than the center fielder once again, it's an inside the park home run. So this is the center fielder's a 3. I've got to check that because that's huge. So if I roll again, it's going to be inside the park home run. He is a 3. And now, okay, just looking at everybody's card, familiarize myself with what's going on. It did end up being a 47. Because remember, I rolled originally the 2. And let's roll again. If it's higher, it's inside the park home run, and it is. And that's a 2-0 lead for the Brewers. And inside the park home run for Robin Yanks. Holy smokes. All right, so it's 2-0 Brewers and Cecil Cooper. I think it's the first time it's happened to me in this game. It's a 3 and a 6, and that's a 1, and a 6 is a 48 now. 48, column 3. And that's a line drive to right versus a left-handed pitcher. Righetti is a lefty. It's a line drive caught by the second baseman, all 4. So Cooper rips one, and right at second baseman Willie Randolph. Here is Ted Simmons, switch hitting catcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. And it's a 4-4, and it is again to the second. It's a shortstop. Shortstop, and the 4 is a 1, and that is a roller to short. Milborn up with it and fires the first with plenty of time to get Simmons 2 away. Next up is Gorman Thomas. It's a 6. That's trouble. 1 and a 4 is a 42, column 6. 42, column 6 is a line drive hit to left field. Roll one die against the defensive rating of the left fielder. And roll one die, and it's going to be a double. And first, the die is higher left fielder. Once more, okay, so it's a double, a 2-out double for Gorman Thomas. And now it's Ben Oldie. And a 3-3, that's a 1, and a 6, column 3, and now the short fly to center field. Racing in is Mumphrey, and Mumphrey gets there with a nice sliding catch. But 2 runs come in on 2 hits and a walk. 2-run homer inside the park home run by Ryan Mount. And we go to the top of the second inning. All right, we're on the top of the second inning. Scores 2-0. Brewers, Paul Mahler with a 2-run inside the park home run. All right, we're back. Top of the second, Reggie Jackson. Huge star in the 70s and 80s. It's a 1 and a 4, it's a 4 and an 8, column 1. And I'm trying to memorize some of these results, and that's going to be popped up. Better Millfield, shortstop. Yount, second baseman again. They're coming together. The outfield grass, and it's Yount who takes it for the first out. Now it's Lou Piniella, right-handed hitter. He came over from the Kansas City Royals in the mid-'70s and has been a Yankee ever since. Eventually, I believe he ends up as a Yankees manager. The pitch from Mike Caldwell, and that's a 6 and a 6, a 5, 11, 16. I believe that's a drive to deep left center field. And look at that carry. And yes, in the second deck. Home run, Lou Piniella. And the score is 2-1 now. So Lou Piniella gets a hold of a Mike Caldwell curveball and waited back on it and drove it into the second deck here in the stadium. I'm sorry, here in County Stadium. Greg Nettles is next. And that's another 66, back-to-back 66s. And that's a deep drive down the line to right. If it's fair, it's gone. And that ball is fair ball. Home run, back-to-back jacks by Lou Piniella and then Greg Nettles. And the game is tied at 2. Bob Watson next. Let's see if I can roll a third 66 in a row. Here's the pitch. Oh, almost. It's a 56. A 2 and a 5, and that is grounded to who is that? Who gets that? That's the shortstop. Molitor up with it and gets Bob Watson, who doesn't run well with plenty of time. Here's Larry Milborn, his first at bat. And it's a 6 and a 1. That's a 5 and a 21. Column 6. And that's a deep fly to center field. Back in is Gorman Thomas on the track and makes the catch. So Larry Milborn gave it a ride. 2 runs come in on 2 hits. The 2 solo home runs by the Yankees. By the bottom of the second, Bando leads off. Rip. It's the Memorial Series replaying the 1981 series between the Yankees and the Brewers. This was a strike-shortened season. Very, very disappointing for me. I kind of turned away from the game for a couple of years almost. Which was very angry. And I did the same in '94, and then I turned away from the game. I couldn't trust it. It wouldn't be there for me. And I went on baseball for a long time, maturing. Here's the pitch, Bando. So 4 and a 5. So that's going to be a fielding column. 5 is going to be the shortstop, and that's going to be bounced to short. Up with his Milborn over to first, low, scooped out by first baseman Watson for the out. Charlie Moore is next. He's the DH today, bats from the right side. Pitch 4-3 now, and that's a 19. And the 3 is the third baseman. Third baseman Nettles is a 2, I believe. Yes, number 2. And so it's a 21. With the infield back, column 4 infield back, and then he's grounded to Nettles, and Nettles off his glove, and that's going to be a base hit for Charlie Moore, hustling down the line. Nettles picks it up, and it's not going to throw over. There's no chance. Moore has good speed for a catcher. He's on at first now. It's a 2-2 game here in the bottom of the second, playing Replay Classic. I'm Tony Corbett, and I can subscribe to my channel. Jim Gantner's up. Now I could do a hit and run here. Alright, so let's try a hit and run. I'm going to roll, and both the pitcher and the batter have hit and run numbers. So it's Righetti against Jim Gantner. And it's a 3, so that's a 3 on Righetti. And a 5. It's a 4. And that's going to be, let's see, column 3, short fly to left field. Back to first is Moore. Oh no, actually no, it was hit and run chart. My fault. Hold on a second. What did I say it was? It was a 3 and a 1, so that's a 4 on the hit and run, and that's a ground ball to first base. It'll be unassisted. Moving to second is more. So Gantner drives it into the ground to get the runner over. And we've got a G3. And now the go-ahead run is in scoring position for Paul Molitor. Molitor can hit. Really, ultimately, that's what the hit and run is all about. It's all about just moving the runner over. If you think you're hitting and running to get some sort of a hit or stolen base, that's really not the purpose of it. So here's a pitch from Dave Righetti, the left-hander, versus Paul Molitor, who bats right. And that is a 2-1. That'll be a 1 and 29. Wow. Okay, so that's going to be a 30 in column 2. The level of suspense here when you don't know a game and you don't have everything memorized. Very different from Apple. So it's a 30, and that's going to be a ground ball. Scooped up by Milbourne. Better hurry, and in time. Oh, it just gets smaller by half a step. And Molitor thinks he was safe. Has some choice words for the umpire at first base. Better the first base coach gets in between them. And you better head back. Otherwise, you may get ejected. So no runs, a hit, and 1 left. And we go to the top of the third. Rick Cerrone leads off against Mike Caldwell. Looks like the ace of the team. I'm not sure, but it's going to be a 1-1, and that's a 19 column 1. And that's going to be a line base hit to left. So the small, I didn't write down the small error number or the small raised number. So it's a, what's in this? So it's a column 1. It's a 19 on column 1, and it says line drive single to left. Roll 1 die against the left fielder's runners advance 1 base, chance for additional base on error. Roll 1 die against the left fielder's small error number. The left fielder, that's his Ogilvy. I didn't write down any of this, I have to look. The small error number is a 4. So, rolling against small error number rating, if the die is higher, the batter and runners advance 1 base. So let's use a different die here. I have a yellow die I like to use for this sort of thing. A lot of concepts, because I've been organizing. I've been doing some spring cleaning, so I've got a lot of stuff out. And I've also got a lot of different games going on, midterms, a lot of different things that I'm doing. So let's see I have a little yellow die here. Let me see if I can find that. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. I have a gigantic yellow die that I also use, and I'm going to use that right now. Oh, there it is. I found my little yellow die. At least I really like this one. So if I roll higher than a 4, 5, or 6, and it's a 6, so that's an error. So Ogilvy bobbles it in left. It's a single for Cerrone, and it's going to be an E7, allowing Cerrone to go to second base. So the go-ahead run is at second now for the Yankees with nobody out. And it's going to be Willie Randolph. The pitch from Caldwell is a 4-1. It's a 25. 25 to the first baseman. First baseman is a 2, so it's a 27. Column 4 with the infield back. And that's going to be a ground single into the outfield. Runner advance, runner on second scores. And they're waving Cerrone around third. And the throw is cut off. So it's a single, RBI single for Willie Randolph. He had an excellent first game for the series. He had a couple of hits and a walk, a double, a single, and a walk. He went 2 for 4 in that first game, and he's 1 for 2 here with an RBI single. Next is Jerry Mumphrey. Still nobody out. Maybe just bunting Mumphrey. And bunting is a little bit different when you look at the bunt chart. It's called the sack play chart. All right, so roll one die only. Let's get that little yellow die. I love that little yellow die. It's a 5. Okay, so the pitcher is always in. If it goes to the pitcher, it's going to be hit to the pitcher, so he's in. And 5 will be a 2 as a sacrifice. And I'm thinking, I don't remember if you add the fielder to this. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's right at the top. Okay, so the pitcher is a, what is Caldwell? Caldwell is a 2 fielder, so a 2 and a 2, I believe, is a 4. No, it's a 6. It's a 2 and a 4 is a 6, and that's going to be a good sacrifice. Runners advance 1 base. Infield in. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, it is a good sacrifice. So right back to Caldwell off the mound, a little bit to his right, and picks it up and over to first. So it's a sacrifice for Mumford. 1-4 moves Randolph to second base. He's in scoring position now. Yankees lead at 3-2. They already lead the series at 1-0. Go back and watch that first game. It's more of a game to listen to, and I input the data into digital Diamond baseball. It's the new companion and helper that I'm using, so I'm trying to learn. I'm putting just random games in there until I learn it before actually starting the season with it. So here's Dave Winfield now with 1 out and a runner on Randolph at second base. And Caldwell better keep a close eye on Randolph because Randolph can steal the base. And here's a pitch to Winfield. Now I could walk Winfield to pitch to the righty, to the lefty Jackson. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to do that. Intentionally walk. And that could potentially set up a double play, which would be great. Here's Reginald Martinez Jackson, number 44. He's this draw that serves the drink. Here's the pitch from Caldwell. And it's a 2-2, a 4 and a 2. That's a 13. Yikes. That is a 13, column 2. That could be trouble. And that's a base hit to center field. Runners advance 1 base with 2 out. So stopping at third, they're going to hold up Randolph at third base, and Reggie will hit a single. Stopping at second will be Winfield. Bases are loaded now for Lou Piniella. Sweet Lou. And the DH today, Homer hit a solo home run in the second inning. It's 3-2 Yanks, and the Yanks threatening here with a whole bunch more. The infield's going to be halfway, allowing, I believe it's early enough in the game. You want to get out of this big, you want to prevent the big inning with a double play here. Let's see what happens. Lou Piniella, Mike Caldwell. And he goes to the belt and deals. And that's a 5 and a 3. That's a 2 and a 6. And that, I think, has a ball 4. Yikes. Unless the bases are loaded. Are the bases loaded? 2 balls. Okay. All right, so that's ball 2. Here goes. And that's a 4-4 again. Another 4 result and a 19. 19 to the shortstop. Shortstop. Out is a 2, so that's a 21. Infield is halfway. And the 21 is going to be a base hit into the outfield. 2 runs will score. Stopping at second will be Dave Winfield scores. Stopping at second will be Jackson. A 2-run single for Sweet Lou Piniella. Yikes. 19. That killed the Brewers. They're about 4. That's a 19 on his 4 column. That 19 is usually trouble. It usually represents some sort of a range hit. It was a 19 plus 2 is a 21. Single into the outfield. The runners advance one base. Runner on second scores. So it's going to be first and second now. And here comes Greg Nettles. He homered. Solo shot in second to tie the game. And it's 4-2 now, Yankees. I'll put the score here at top of the page. And let's see what happens. One out. Jackson's the second. Noah's the first. Here's the pitch to Nettles. And that's a snake eyes. And that'll be a 34. Column 1, 34. Let's see if this is a strikeout. I don't know. I haven't memorized this book yet. And it's going to be a walk. Base on balls. It's going to load the bases. And pitching coach is going to go out to talk to Caldwell. He's really struggling here. And that's Caldwell. I'm looking at his card, and with 2 4s and 1 and 2. I don't see him as an ace. I see Righetti as the ace of the Yankees, but I don't know if Caldwell is an ace. I don't know how good he was. I didn't look up his stats. So the bases are loaded, and here's Bob Watson, right-handed hitter. Bob Watson. And the infield is going to be halfway, down 4-2. Again, looking for that double play. You know what? We're going to play the infield in. Here's pitch. And it's a 5 and a 2. That's a 2 and a 3. Infield in. Let's see what happens here. Column 5 and a 3 with the infield in. So the infield out at first, the lead runner holds. Other runners advance. If the lead runner is forced, he is out on fielder's choice. So it's going to be what do we say it was? It was a 2 and a 1 is a 3. A ground ball to third base. On 5 single. It doesn't have a 5 single, so no strikeout. So it's going to be 5. Ground ball to third. And that is Bando. Whips it home for the fourth. So out is Jackson, 5-2. Let me see if I can fit that in there somewhere. And Watson is on the fielder's choice. Going to third is Pinella, going to second is Nettles, and Watson on the first. And here's Larry Noble, 2 out now. Infield's now going to play back. Mike Caldwell deals. 1 and a 4, that's a 4 and a 9. Column 1 and 9. Should be a pop-up, and it is. Popped up left side. Third baseman Bando in foul territory, now in fair territory, and makes the catch. F5 to end the inning. The Yankees pick up 3 big runs. They lead it 5-2, and a big 2-run single by Sweet Lou Piniella. Pick up 3 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits to go to the bottom of the third inning. Next batter around in that top of the third inning. They lead the series 1-0. Here is Robin Yount leading off against Dave Righetti. So 1 and 2, and that'll be a strikeout. That was a fastball by Yount for the first out. Next is Cecil Cooper. And that is a 1 and a 5, and that'll be a 36, and that I believe is a strikeout as well. 36. Oh, I gotta look up 36. There's a special page. Scroll down to just that. Let's see. And it's a strikeout, so he struck him out. Back-to-back Ks. For Dave Righetti. And a snake eyes, and that's going to be a 41 column 1, and that's going to be a clutch hit. The runner around on base score does a double, the base is empty, score does a base on ball. So that's ball 4. Simmons walks, a 2-out walk, takes ball 4. He's on the first. Next is Gorman Thomas. Thomas with good power, the pitch from Righetti. And it's a 2 and a 3. Struck him out. And 3 strikeouts in that inning for Righetti. They leave a man on to walk to Simmons. No runs, no hits. And go to the top of the 4th inning. All right. Yeah. Top of the fourth inning. The Yankees are up 5-2. Caldwell is still in the game. And actually, as of 4 runs, I believe he goes to his B side. So let's turn him on his B side. His backside, if you will. All right, and here's Rick Cerone leads off the inning. He singled and reached second base on an error by the left fielder Ben Ogilvy in the top of the third, an inning which saw the Yankees score 3 runs on 4 hits and a couple of walks, one intentional. Cerone hits one on the ground to short, and that is Yount. One away. It's a 5-1, so that's a 2 and a 5, and that is a ground ball again to the shortstop. For Yount with 2 outs. Bottom of the fourth, Ben Ogilvy leads off against Dave Righetti. He flied out to center field, and it's going to be a 5 to the shortstop, who is a 3, so that's an 8. Column 4, and that's bounced to short for out number 1. Nice play by Milbourne, covering lots of ground out there. Here's Sal Bando. Bando grounded out to the shortstop in his first at bat. Hit a home run, the only run for the Brewers in Game 1. Broke up a no-hitter by Ron Guidry in the bottom of the 8th inning with a leadoff solo home run. And it's a 1 and a 2, and struck him out. And Bando goes down swinging. Rest in peace, Sal Bando, the captain, Arizona State, then the Kansas City Athletics, and in '68 he went to the Oakland Athletics. And it was a core 4 or 5 or 6 that stayed together for several years. They made it to 3 world championships, including playoffs, I believe, in '71 and '75. Could have been 5 consecutive World Series. Here is Charlie Moore. And that's a 3, a 1, and a 5 is a 4, column 3. And that is a shallow fly. Racing in is the center fielder, and he makes a nice running catch. So Mumphrey read it well off the bat. Go to the top of the 5th. Mike Caldwell against Dave Winfield. And that's a 21, column 2. And that's a drive in the air to right field towards the line. Is Molitor, who makes the catch F1. So Winfield takes the ball the other way in the air, and Molitor makes the catch. Here's Reggie Jackson, who's 1 for 2 with a single. And that's a 3-9. That would be line base hit right field. So Jackson rips one to right. He's on at first. Lou Pinella's next. Pitch to Pinella. 39, column 1. And ground ball to short. Infield is halfway. Second to first. 6-4-3 double play, and they turn it. No runs, 1 hit. Nobody left. Into the bottom of the 5th. 5-2 Yankees. Charlie Moore leads off against Dave Righetti. And that's a 1 and a 4. It's a 23, column 3. And it's driven to left center field. On the run is Mumphrey, and Mumphrey, nice catch, runs it down. So Gantner drives one. There's a 22 up there. I had the wrong car. Let's see, the 22 on 3. Yep, that's to right field. So it's the right field Jackson, who beat Mumphrey to the ball. Paul Mahler now. And a 6 and a 6, that's a 1 and an 8. That should be a single. I believe it's a single. Let's double check, and that is line to left. Base hit. Paul Mahler. One on, one out. Next is Robin Yount, the pitch, and that's a 5 and a 1. That's a 4. And one is a 7. That's ball 4. And that's going to be a strikeout for Righetti. He's got a cross, if you will, a dagger on that 4. So that will be a strikeout for Righetti. Oh, wait a second. That's with the bases loaded. Hang on a second. It's only with the bases empty, so I got to correct that. So it's Righetti versus Yount. And it's a 4. Plus one is a 7. And that was Mahler. It's a single. Is it a single? Or is it a base on balls? It's a walk. All right. So Robin Yount, the 1 is a 3. It's a 7. That's a base on balls. Which one's on first and second? And Righetti may be fatiguing here a little bit in the 5th inning. He got out a single, now a one-out walk. Pitch runners on first and second. So the tying run is at the plate. And Cecil Cooper. Cecil Cooper swings from the left side. And here's the pitch. Righetti from the belt. And that is a 3. Third baseman. Nettles, I believe, is a 2. And it's a 6, column 4 with the infield halfway. And that's going to be a 5-4-3 round the horn double play. Ending, so crushing double play. No runs, a hit, 1 left. And into the top of the 6th inning. Yankees lead at 5-2. It's Nettles, Watson, and Milburn. Here's a pitch, Caldwell. Caldwell on his B side. Now a 3 third baseman, Bando with a 3. And I think that'll be an 8 with the infield back. Bounce to third, Bando to his left. Throws on the run and gets Nettles. 1 away. Bob Watson is next. Watson is 0 for 2 to it. Going down at both times. A 5 and a 5, and that's going to be a 7, ball 4. So Caldwell walks Watson. Next is Larry Milburn on the pitch. And it's a 6 and 5. It's a 5. 21. Column 6. And there will be a deep fly to center field backing up. Backing up some more is Thomas, and Thomas with 1 foot on the track. Hauls it in. Here's Rick Serrano. Hit from Caldwell. So again, it's a 5-5, and that's a 21. And again, a drive to center field. And on the track goes Thomas, and retires the side. So no runs, no hits, a walk, 1 left. Go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Team started moving along a little bit finally. Right, that sentence is up against David Righetti. Pitch, bottom of the 6th. 5-2. Yankees. Column 3, so it's a 1. It's a 4, column 3. And that is short fly to left. Field of Winfield. Puts it away. So someone flies out. For out number 1, here is Foreman Thomas, pitch from the bid. 2 and 2 and maybe the second baseman. Now the bounce with second. Scooped up by Randolph Plants. And gets him at first. 2 down. And here's Ben Ogleby. Snake Eyes. And that'll be a 41. 41, column 1. And that'll be a clutch hit. The base is empty. It's ball 4. So Ogleby walks. And next is Sal Bando. Sal Bando was grounded out, struck out. Rest in peace. This is the Sal Bando Memorial Um, what else about Sam? I want to talk about. He hired Phil Garner to manage the Brewers. He acted as a general manager for the Brewers after he retired. And that's a 2-2. One and two. Struck him out. Bando goes down, swinging for the second time in the inning. No runs. A walk, one left. And went to the top of the seventh. Willie Randolph. And 6-5. That's a 5 and a 5-21. That's a flyer. Center field deep. Setting up is Thomas, and Thomas again. They've taken, I think I've rolled this 3 consecutive times. They've taken Caldwell deep to center field 3 consecutive times. Here's Mumford. And it's a 5 6, a 57, column 3. What's that going to do? And we're going to have to look at a special chart. Column 3, 57. That's a driller to the mound. Pitcher may attempt to retire the batter with his choice. Whether one die against the winners. The winner is Mumford. He's a 4. The guy's hired, he is out, so I'm 5 or 6, and he is safe. A little dribbler back to the mound, and Murphy beats it out. Oh, I couldn't get it in time, so 1 out, 1 on. Here's Dave Winfield. The pitch, 2-1. We got 47, column 2 this time. And that's going to be a ground ball. Bounce to first base. Cooper steps on the bag and moving to second is Mumford, so he's in scoring position. And here, excuse me, Reggie Jackson. So 5. The shortstop. So that's a 6, column 4. We can move him back. And a bouncer. 4 out. Number 3, 6-3. No runs. Okay, 1 left. We're at the bottom of the 7th inning stretch. Taking out to the ballpark. Charlie Moore leads off. It's going to be Moore again, and on the top of the order against David Righetti. Here's the pitch. 5 and a 2, so that's a 4. And a 2, and that'll be a strikeout. With nobody on, it's a strikeout. And Jim Gantner is next. 2-1, and that's a 43, column 2, and that'll be a ground ball right back to the mound. Righetti feels his position and just gets Gantner. Righetti had a little trouble getting it out of his glove, but then once he had it, he whipped it to first base and just got Gantner, who was hustling down the line. Here's Paul Mahler, the leadoff hitter. Has a little bit of a rough car, and the rubber band gave him a rough time. Barely survived that accident. And that's going to be a 3, and that's hit to short. Easy play for Milborn, and that retires the side. 3 up and 3 down. We're at the top of the 8th now. Lou Piniella leads off. Sweet Lou Piniella from Kansas City. Originally started with the Kansas City Royals. That's going to be a 5. And that's a 1. A 1 to the shortstop. Bounced in the hole, and long throw, and oh, nice throw. Robin Yount showing off the cannon. A bouncer in the hole, and Piniella just shaking his head. Greg Nettles, man. Greg Nettles has a 1 for 2 today with a walk and a home run, solo home run in the second inning. Yanks lead at 5-2. You can see at the top of the page. I'm going to tighten it up a little bit as well. 5-2. Yankees, they lead the series 1-0. Check out the other game. Use Digital Diamond to input data. Here's Greg Nettles' pitch. That's a 66 and a 5 and 11 and 16, and that is a deep drive to right. And that ball is going in the second deck home run, the second home run of the day for Greg Nettles. And that's going to be it for Caldwell. All right, it's lurching again. Lurch is a lefty, I believe, and he's got those extras 89 innings for free. So here's a pitch to Watson. And 3-2, that is a 14. And a 14, column 2 is a base hit to left. So Watson rips. Sends a rope into left field for a single, and that's his first hit of the day. He's 1 for 3. Here's Milburn. Score is 6-2 now. And a column 4, and a 3 is a 25 to the third baseman. Bando, a 3, a 28 with the infield halfway. And that is a bunt. And nobody's going to get there. Larry Milburn picks up a bunt single. So 1 out, and runners on first and second. Here's Rick Cerrone. Pitch from Lurch. So 1 and a 2, and that's a 38, column 1. 38, column 1. Be a ground ball to short. Goes to second for him. Back to first. Double play. They turn it. So 1 run on 3 hits, and the Yankees lead 6-2. The home run, the second home run of the game by Greg Nettles. He's mustering up a little of the old magic, the old home run magic. He does go on to play with the San Diego Padres for several years. Still has a little pop in his back, so I shouldn't be too harsh on him. He was feared in the late 70s with the Yankees, and there was that dynasty era of 76, 77, 78. Greg Nettles, he could really play the field, and of course he had that pop in his back. Didn't bat very high, low batting average, but he definitely stroked some home runs in Yankee Stadium. He definitely had the glove, for sure. Here's Robin Yan against Dave Righetti. It's his 8th inning. So hasn't given up what I do is 7th inning is when you spin it around to the B side. But what I do is I let him go until he allows a base runner. So here's Robin Yan. Maybe he'll be the first base runner on 11. So 1. 1 and 11, and that is a single to left. So that's the first base hit in a while since the 5th inning. And that's going to spin Righetti's car around to the B side. Next is Cooper, pitch from Righetti. So 4, it's a 6, column 3, 6, column 3, and that's back to, no, it's a fly ball to shallow center. Racing in is Murphy, and Murphy gets there. Bob's a hit. Hustling back to first and sliding in. He's new. Here's Ted Simmons, pitch, and 3 and a 6. It's a 4, it's a 56, column 3, and a 56. We're going to have to check 56, and that is going to be column 3, 56. And that's a dribbler down the bound. So if it's higher than Simmons' speed, he's a 2. It's a 1, so he beats it out. So that's a bunt single, a little dribbler single, not a bunt single. So he hits one into the ground towards the third base bag, and Nettles won't get to it. So it's first and second now. Oh, it's a dribbler to the mound, but okay, so roll 1 die against the winner for batter speed. If the die is higher, he is out. He was choice ground. Runners and runs 1 base. Oh, if the die roll is identical, roll 1 die against the pitcher's small area. Oh, that's interesting. All right, so first and second, and it's Gorman Thomas, pitch from Righetti. That is a 4, 24, column 3, and that is a fly to left. Got a corner out there. for Dave Winfield. Nobody's going to challenge Dave Winfield on. They wouldn't advance anyway, down by 4 runs at this point. Here's Ben Ogilvy. And that is a 2-18. Ben Ogilvy calling 2-18. That will be a fly down the line, left field corner. Winfield, will he get there? Yes. Winfield tracks it. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We're at the top of the ninth. Randy Lurch against Willie Randolph. And that is a 3. He is the third baseman. 14, column 4, infield back. And bouncer to Bando, and Bando boots it, E5. So Randolph is on an error on Bando. Next is Mumphrey. 2-3, that's a 3 and a 6. Struck him out. So Randy Lurch strikes out Mumphrey. Chases a ball in the dirt. Here's Winfield. 3-3, a 4 and a 9, column 3, and the 9 is going to be a foul out. Pop up into left. To foul territory on the left side, and it's third baseman Bando, F05, who gets there. Reggie Jackson now, 1 on and 2 out for the pitch from Rich. And that's a 3, a 7. And 3 is the third baseman, a 3, that's a 10, column 4. Hopefully was back again. And that's a bouncer to Bando. Over to first, and that retires the side. No runs, no hits, and error. Move to the bottom of the ninth. Righetti going for a complete game. I'll have 2 runs on the inside the park home run. Actually, yep, 2 runs on the inside the park home run in that first inning. So leading off is Sal Bando. He's 0 for 3 today. Pitch from Righetti. And it's a 3, that's a 4, and a 2 is a 6, column 3, and that is a shallow fly center field, and Mumphrey makes the catch for out number 1. So Bando takes the call 0 for 4. Here's Charlie Moore, pitch from Righetti, and that's a 2. Hit to the second baseman, a 4 bounce to second base, easy play for Randolph, 2-way, and Jim Gantner. So the Brewers are down to the last out. He's 0 for 3 today. The pitch from Righetti, a 2 and a 7, and column 1, 7. Let's pop up. Middle infield. It's Randolph and Milborn come together, and Randolph calls them off, and the ball game is over. No runs, no hits, 3 up, 3 down in that final inning. Dave Righetti shows up, so it's really Yankee pitching that's made the difference in both game 1 and game 2. Now let's take a quick look here. Final score is 6-2. Hits, 3 hits there. Wow, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 hits for the Yankees. Yankees committed no errors. The Brewers committed 2 errors, one on Goldie and one on Bando. And they had how many hits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. And 2 runs, so it's the Yankees coming out ahead. 6 runs, 11 hits, no errors. The Brewers with 2 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors. Loss goes to Caldwell. Win goes to Righetti. Complete game victory. 9-6. Strikeout 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 strikeouts from Righetti. Walks 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 walks for Righetti. And he allowed 2 runs, 2 earned runs. The inside the park home run. No wild pitches, no pass balls. He gets the victory. And this is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, Game 2. The Yankees take a 2-0 series lead in this 1981 Replay Classic replay of the 81 American League Division Series. I think I called it the ALCS yesterday. Not the Championship Series, it's the Division Series, I believe. And and that's it. Remember, like and subscribe to my channel. Join Universal Baseball Association Facebook group, and its affiliated groups. And I will see you again very, very soon. Take care.